You waiting for Bianca? Here is Bianca.
Who are you talking to?
To you. Hold on a second.
That's Jason.
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
He was putting new batteries in his headphones.
Why did he call? Why? Oh, he called me on this thing.
Yeah.
All right. No, don't call, Jason. Just jump on the invite.
I told him. I said we've been invited another time.
Yeah.
What was going on? You couldn't hear anybody?
Yeah, it's the same thing that happens once in a while where if I haven't restarted Chrome in a while, it doesn't recognize my microphone.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, hold on. I gotta yell at him.
Okay.
Hello. Jason.
Hey.
Hey, why are you calling me?
I don't know. I keep trying to join the call, and then it does this.
Bianca was able to do it.
I know.
Oh, it just said
I
audio?
got my headphones working.
Yeah, you
My
should.
headphones run out of battery.
There should be a new Evite right there. Oh, now he hung up on me. That probably went good. I'm gonna re-invite him, B.
Okay.
Just see if that. We shouldn't have to do anything. He should just get this
Oh.
new invite and be like, "Hey, yeah, that's right. I use this one."
Okay, so should I hang up this one?
No, just stay there. I think we'll find out in a second, I guess.
Okay.
How are you?
Good. If you're gonna yell at me, but I still haven't really thought of 3 things.
Oh my gosh, B.
I know. Well, because I have to think of them all at once, and then I'm like, what did I do?
There it
That
is.
is not the way to do it. Hey, Grip Dog.
Sorry about that. Did you? Yours was yours working the whole time? Mine was just dead.
No, it was mine. It was all my part.
But mine was dead too.
I could hear you. So
I know, but my headphones were dead because I had left them on.
that's
but my
funny.
coworker, I'm gonna replace whatever one of my 3 is.
They had AAA batteries.
My coworker had AAA batteries. Who has AAA batteries? Why do they make AAA batteries? Is what I want to know.
That's a really good question.
Oh my gosh!
I'm going to take an alternative, contrarian view. I like AAA better than AA. That's my.
Oh my gosh.
They're smaller. I like them smaller with batteries. I don't like
Oh my gosh. Who cares?
D's. I don't want D's ever. I don't want those big old batteries. No thanks.
Well, I'd rather have nuclear powered.
I'm with you. There you go.
I'm with you.
We're all on the same page on this one.
You know, my dad has his PhD in nuclear engineering, and in the 90s, he told me a fact, and I don't know if it's true or not, but he says the amount of nuclear waste that is like a teaspoon from the amount of nuclear energy that it would
produces.
Yeah, produces like for a city for like 10 years.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
You have to find where you're gonna put it though.
Yeah.
I heard this story once, and it was there was a nuclear sub, a U.S. Navy nuclear sub that was like stationed outside of Kauai, and Kauai lost all of their power. So this one sub gave electricity to the entire island for 2 weeks while they fixed it.
Oh my gosh! Why can't they do that in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know.
Because that's crazy. Did anybody catch it? I didn't make my top 3, but anybody catch the mayor on Colbert?
No.
I saw that she was on it because of Twitter, but I didn't actually watch it.
It was awesome. I really like it. I really like that. I just liked her interview, and I like that lady a lot. That's it. If any of you had seen it, we'd talk about it. But
yeah.
I'm glad it's not one of your top. Because
yeah, me too. That's a good one. That's a good one not to be in your top 3.
I still only have 2.
All right, it's been a long time. Do we know at all what order? I picked last time, which means we go back up. I go back up to the top and do the introduction, right?
Yeah, I think that's true.
So I do the introduction. Jason goes first. I go second, and then Bianca picks.
Do I pick?
Yep.
Wait, no. Bianca might go first. And then Jason picks this week. I think that's right. Because Bianca, you did the intro last time, right?
I really can't remember.
So I think you did the intro, so you just dropped down one. So this time you go first.
Okay.
I do the intro. Jason, maybe Jason did the intro last time. I don't know. I know I picked. That's the only thing I remember. Hold on, I can probably tell by my order.
No, you can't.
I can. Jason did the intro. Jason did the intro because you went second, Jason. Because the first one last time was Space. That had to be Bianca's.
Yeah.
And then I wrote down Spoon, which was yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the order. So so everybody goes down one, rotates down one, which means I do the intro. Jason, you go first. Bianca, you pick.
Oh, I thought you said that I was going first. Is that really the way I pick?
Mhm.
Okay.
You pick. So you have a little extra
I
time.
still need to. Should I just say Thanksgiving in general? I mean, that's so like.
We've all got Thanksgiving, right?
Rod.
Or no, do not all have Thanksgiving. I have Thanksgiving on there.
Okay,
So
no,
I'm good with that
Thanksgiving.
being everybody having a Thanksgiving one.
Okay.
It's right in the name, for crying out loud.
Oh, good point.
Yep.
And also, we can move our thankful for the whole year since we didn't do it for Thanksgiving. We can do it for the end of the year podcast.
I kind of like that. I wouldn't mind doing like a series of those if we were intentional.
A
Kind
series
of like
of
a year in reviews of like we tried to do that last January a little bit, but if like we did in December, maybe we did like our 3 favorite things we've read this year, or 3 favorite albums from the year, or like something like that.
Yeah.
I think that might be fun. I don't know. Some people might hate it. I'm not sure. I kind of like it because I like the order of it, but it definitely changes the dynamic of what we're doing a little bit.
Do we vote?
Should we
vote
like this year in gratitude?
Yeah.
I'm all right just doing our regular 3 that we always do. I was just thinking the other thing is it gets hard to record them over the breaks. So what we could do is what I was kind of thinking is we could record our regular week ones and then do like just tack on an extra one, or like just if we looked at our December and lopped off like 2 hours to record, we could do like 3 or 4 of them in that 2 hours that were like topical, and then I could post those throughout the break. Do you know what I'm saying?
Let's try it.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of fun to try it.
I do too.
And then we could do books, music, movies, TV, whatever, and just do like a half hour of each of them, or just plow through them for the year.
Yeah.
So think about that, and think about categories you would like, and then after we get done, we can look at schedules for like, is there a time? Like, we'll take like a Monday afternoon or something and say, all right, we'll record for a couple hours.
Hey, that sounds good. Let's do it. Let's do you have time after? Let's do a little after time scheduling.
Okay. I'm good with that for a little bit.
Me too.
All right.
How are you, B?
I have something at 9:30.
Is that like 10 minutes?
So that's a no-go.
Yeah.
That's a no-go.
That's a shot down. Okay, we'll do it via text.
Unless we're done.
Yeah, we'll do it via text.
We'll do it via text. Perfect. All right, let's start this thing. You want to start?
I start this thing.
Okay, and then I go first. This is my sweet spot. I love this one.
Yeah, this is the spot you like to be in. This is your favorite part.
Sit back.
And my least favorite part is choosing.
Can you just
so it's simultaneously Jason's best day and Bianca's worst day. No, your least favorite one is doing the intro.
That's actually, I just don't like the whole thing.
You don't like any of it. I'm so glad Bianca's with us.
I can find a negative thing to say about every single aspect.
Everything we do, it's never around you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, thank you for joining This Week in Gratitude. We are glad you are with us, and we are glad to be together ourselves. I am Greg in San Antonio, Texas. I'm joined by Bianca in Seattle, Washington.
Hi.
And Jason in Muskegon, Michigan.
Hello.
Hey, guys. I'm glad you're with us. We are all pastors in some capacity or other, and we get together every week when we can and talk about things that we're grateful for in our lives, things that we see God doing, things that we've read, things that we've watched, whatever it is, just things we want to share with each other. and we're glad that you're able to join us. So we record these and put these out about once a week, and if you like it, please subscribe to it. Please tell your friends about it. We enjoy doing it, and we'll do it whether you listen or not, but we would prefer you listen. So, and please send us notes, comment on it. Every once in a while, we get people who are like, hey, I love this thing you're talking about, or I love that thing you're talking about. That's the best. So
Yeah.
Send us that stuff. We love that stuff. And how are you guys doing, man? I'm ready to rock.
I'm ready to rock too. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be back together. Good to
That
see
intro-
everybody.
Thanksgiving
That
break.
intro reminded me of my favorite moment that happened a few weeks ago when Jason introduced you, Greg, and you go, yeehaw.
That did not sound less awkward when I listened back to it.
And my headphones are on mute, but I want everyone to know that I laughed really hard live, but it was on mute, so you didn't hear me. And then, because it did sound kind of weird, that no one reacted.
Nobody reacted.
No one reacted to your out of character. Yeehaw!
I was like, I get the whole Texas thing, and I got nothing back out of it. Like, that doesn't make sense.
I was laughing really hard.
Jason just kept plowing through it, no response whatsoever.
Yeah, and you just reminded me during your intro how funny that was.
I thought you were just embracing your Texan. That's pretty good.
You're just like, I don't want to laugh.
Yeah, Jason's just like, that sounds like Greg. I know Greg to ride cows and
Yeah.
Say yeehaw at introductions. That sounds like him. Thank you for that. That means a lot.
yeah, I forgot. I should not mute my my headphones. My mic.
Okay, I get to start, yeah?
You get to start us off,
you
bro.
do.
I get to start, and I think I'll start us off. Oh, but before we start, I noticed, Greg, you're wearing a trucker hat. Well, you guys
Yeah,
had
you like this one?
You had truckers' hats made?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Does it really go like this? Go to the side.
Look at that.
We have to say something.
It's pretty sharp. Well, I'm looking to the side. You told me to look to the side.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
There's a
wondering if it was
trucker's hat.
mesh.
There's a trucker's hat. It's not for this podcast, so that's going to be a little confusing if you're just hearing this.
Yeah, it's just through the college ministry,
For
Vital
our college
Ministry.
ministry, for our outdoor adventure program. If you want one of these hats, you can send me $20 and I can get you a hat.
Okay.
Yay, and an address.
Yeah, $20 and an address, and I will hook you up. They're really nice.
They are really nice. Vital. Okay, I'll get in straight into it. Okay, here we go. We're just gonna actually we're gonna ease into it just because we got a little time. We got a little time, but I think I'll start with my Thanksgiving thanks. This week in gratitude.
Yeah.
Because we just passed Thanksgiving. My specific one was I did an adventure. It's just fun every once in a while. Just I enjoy just flying by the seat of my pants and just rattling things up, and it's in the vein of like what's that guy's name, Donald Miller's A Million Miles or whatever. Just pausing, listening for the spirit, and just say what's going to make the best story for today. And so a little over a week ago, a couple weeks ago, I don't know, I said yes to an adventure. I said, it's Third Man Records over in Detroit, the other side of the state, 3 hours away, was doing this raffle, but they were just getting interest in Detroit Rescue Mission's turkey drive. And so Jack White, just being creative like he always is, he says, if you donate a turkey to Detroit Rescue Mission's turkey drive, that will get you a free 7-inch record, and it will get you entered into a raffle, to win great prizes, like headphones and all this other stuff. So I said, sure, let's do that. And so I have a Bible study. I meet weekly with this gentleman. He's hearing impaired. He's deaf. His name's Stephen. And so I said, hey, what do you think about going to Detroit? And he's 54 years old. He said, I haven't been since I was 6. So I was like, dude, let's do this, because he's hearing impaired, and it's not every day that you get to, because he can't safely drive that far. He doesn't feel safe behind the wheel, like driving that far, because on freeways and that kind of jazz and trying to find directions and stuff like that. Anyway, so me and
it's a rare situation where you driving somebody makes them feel safer.
I know. That's what I was thinking too. Where's Bianca when you need her? You know what I mean? So my wife bought a cheap turkey at the local supermarket. We threw it in the car, and Stephen and I cruised across the state. It wasn't the safest of trips, just because he reads lips, for
So you're looking at him the whole time.
Yeah, so I was looking at whenever we were talking, it was life or death. But thank God there's not much in the middle of Michigan, so there wasn't anything for me to hit or anything. So then I showed him that we went down there, we donated the turkey, got the raffle entry, got my free Otis Redding. I got because Jack Whiten's got into cool. He's got into repressing like all these classics that have gone out of print, and then I didn't win the raffle.
Oh,
but it was just awesome. But I got.
So I just want to make sure I understand.
Yes.
And summarize this correctly. That your Thanksgiving highlight was taking a deaf guy to a record shop.
Yes.
3 hours away.
3 hours away.
All right, good. That makes sense.
That's my highlight.
Was that Thanksgiving Day?
No, it was the week of Thanksgiving. It was Tuesday.
Mm.
Yeah, I saw some pics of this, Jason. That legitimately sounds awesome. That's cool.
It was fun.
That's like right in your wheelhouse, man.
Boom. So that's my one.
Super good.
What an adventurer.
Yeah. I love getting that name of that Donald Miller book wrong.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite book to get wrong, I think, on purpose.
1,000 suns in a million miles.
A billion places in a mile in a million years, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I do love that book, though.
It's a wicked good book. It's a wicked good book.
And he's like into branding now. It's like, really? You couldn't have thought of a better title?
Yeah, I'm like 2/3 of the way through his branding book. It's not bad as far as that goes, if you like branding stuff, yeah.
He has a branding podcast, too.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that one. But
I've heard it's good.
Jason got me thinking about my Thanksgiving stuff. I would put Thanksgiving number 1 on mine as well. We have the added piece of, it's also Colette's birthday, the week of Thanksgiving. So that's kind of fun. So we get to double up on those. And she's 12 and a 6th grader now. So she's like entering this whole other level of pain for me that I don't understand. So like we're figuring that out. That's good. But we had this funny, like I'll tell a funny story about her from this week. My brother, who's doing really well, has started to date somebody who is a really cool person. And so my brother's birthday was like the weekend before Thanksgiving, and then Colette's birthday is the weekend of Thanksgiving. And so we had this like birthday dinner with my brother and this new girl, and she's great, and we had a lot of fun. So Colette was like, my kids are all excited to meet this lady. And so we told Colette about her, and Colette goes, "Oh, this is going to be perfect. I'm going to prank her."
Oh, gosh.
Because you have to welcome her, and this is how we do this. You have to prank her. And so she goes, so her big prank was she was going to walk around on crutches and pretend to have a bad ankle. And then, like, partway through the day, she was going to throw away the crutches and just do a bunch of, like, backflips.
That's a harmless prank. That's good.
Yeah, it's harmless. It's harmless. But in her head, this is, like, the best prank. Like, she's thought this through. She's planned this out, and she's ready to go.
Homage to Tiny Tim. I love it.
Yeah, exactly, right? And so the irony of the whole week was Monday at gymnastics, she, like, breaks her ankle.
Oh no! Breaks it?
Like,
oh my god!
Not quite breaks it, but like I'll send you some pictures if you want to see them. They're gross. Like she super sprained it, tore up a bunch of stuff.
Oh.
It got like 4 sizes the size of a regular ankle.
And she actually needed crutches.
She's been on crutches for 2 weeks now.
Oh.
And so it's like it was just this gut punch to the prank of like
Also, what are the chances?
I know it's so unlikely, and like she's been in gymnastics for years and never really gotten hurt, and
also that prank.
I know, and so it's like the exact thing she had planned out, but then it came true.
It could have been anything.
Yeah, it could have been. I was like, I'm glad you didn't plan on a worse prank than that. Who knows what could have happened?
Oh my gosh!
No,
and you were making
it was a good
you were making fun of my highlight. I'm driving across the state with a deaf guy.
I don't think you were making fun of it. I thought you were just summarizing it.
I wasn't picking up the nuance. Deaf guy to a record shop 3 hours away is a little. It's a little.
Oh,
I took this blind guy to an art museum, Jason. I was going to tell you about that.
A record shop, that makes sense. He can hear. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, I thought he was blind.
No, he's
deaf.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it now.
This is the part of the episode, every episode, where we say it's very early where Bianca is.
It is early. And that doesn't help though, that in college people would say that I'm 20 seconds behind every conversation. It looks like things have not changed.
So you what about your Thanksgiving? You got one for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Christmas just because Thanksgiving was good, but my brother and sister weren't here, so it was just me and my parents. It was good for that, and the dog, obviously.
Rio!
I'm looking forward to Christmas where my brother and sister will be back, and we'll all be together. But I will choose something we did over Thanksgiving, kind of like you guys, and we saw Thor Ragnarok. And it was so good. And I feel bad for dogging on Wonder Woman a couple weeks ago, but this one was really good. So I laughed a lot. It's by the same guy, this New Zealand guy who did What We Do in the Shadows, which is a comedy about vampires, which I really like. And so it was funny, and I've never seen just a Thor movie before. I've seen Thor in the Avengers, and I thought, I hope I don't have to catch up on anything, and you really don't. This one is, it's just funny on its own. It's got the Hulk in it, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I would recommend it. And as much as I like Thanksgiving, that's the one thing that we did over the break. And
that's awesome.
Anyway, have you guys seen it?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I have not. I was talking to somebody else about it. I haven't seen very many of those movies, period. I think Spider-Man, the summer I saw, and I saw Civil War, and I might have saw the first Captain America, but I don't think I've seen any of the other.
The first Thor was good too. I think the Thors are good, and I
just haven't seen them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, definitely check that out if you get the chance.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yay.
And now it's me again, yeah?
Yeah, back to you, Jason.
I'm on 2. I wanted to throw something kind of relevant, or kind of nowish. It's the new album by this band, Oh Wonder. I enjoy just flipping through the library. Shout out to Phil Majorance, because that was one of the doors that our friendship, he really opened that to me. I don't know, it's really fun. That's how I first heard Josh Ritter's Animal Years.
Yeah,
I was years after. You already knew about him, and everybody's like, oh yeah, you got that. That was like 2003, man. Anyway, but this was, I stumbled across because it had good artwork. I just checked it out from the library and listened. It's in my car CD, and I haven't taken it out. I listened to it like 3 or 4 times over the last couple of weeks. It's been really good. Anyway, just to describe their sound for you, Greg, they are a British duo, a girl and a guy, and like, I looked on the Wikipedia page, and they call them like electro pop, or just pop,
like ABBA.
Yeah, but they're do it yourself. Their first album, they recorded a song a month, and then after 12 months, they released that first album, and that was in 2015. And then the second one, I don't know their story. I don't think they had a story behind it. I think they just released it, but I think they did it themselves. And I think it's wicked good. It's got a guy and a girl voice, and it's
called Oh Wonder. That's the name of the band.
The Oh Wonder is Oh Wonder. the Oneaters.
Yeah.
It's spelled with a 1. Oh no, it's the Oh Wonder. Yeah, it's not the Oh Wonder. It's Oh Wonder, and the new album is Ultra Life.
Is it OH Wonder or O letter Wonder?
It's OH and then space and then Wonder. And on the cover, it just has an OW.
Ow.
Yeah. Ow. Because Wonder. I don't know. That's their maybe they need to talk to that branding guy.
They may need to have a conversation somewhere
with Donald Miller
without having to have a 5-minute conversation spelling it out.
You have seen that thing you do, right? That'd be like my first question.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a branding master.
And what I dig about them is it's minimalistic while at the same time it's just creative. I like how they use cool. There's like they do some harmony stuff. They play around with the guitar a little bit, and then they overdub some like synthesizer stuff. But they don't. It's not too busy. I like music that it's just simple. You know, simple but good.
That's good. I'm with you on that one. The more noise, the less I like the music as a rule.
Yeah.
I can't do it. There's too much stuff. But like just two people, I could listen to that.
I'm gonna see if they're on Spotify.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find them somewhere. That's good.
Oh.
Wonder. W. Cool.
I wonder.
I wonder.
Oh, wonder makes me wonder. Why?
I wonder. Oh, wonder.
Why do you think musicians tend to overproduce? Like, why do you think that the most common like flaw between the first and the second album is too much stuff? You know what I mean? Like I love Sufjan Stevens. I love. Am I pronouncing that right? Am I pronouncing that right, audience?
No way.
Sufjan. I like Sufjan Stevens when it's like him and a guitar and it's like stripped down, but then when he throws like all these instrumentations and all this like, and Iron and Wine does the same thing. Yeah. The guy from Florida, I think he's from Florida, but when he does, he goes electric, and I don't know. Why do you think that bands do that?
I have a psychological theory on why they do it.
That's what I'm looking for, Greg.
I have no way of proving.
That's why I woke up today. That's why I
have no way of proving if it's true or not. It's just a theory. Yeah. But I think there are people like you're not a musician if like it's. Hold on, let me see if I can come up with a parallel. It's like the same reason people who love drugs always do more drugs, right? Like it's like the law of diminishing returns or whatever. If you're a musician, you love music because you love sounds. And so I think you get bored with a certain limit of sounds and you find beauty in more sounds. So you think a move is just to add more sound. But then also, as I'm talking about it, I think there's this other dynamic that's happening, which is your first album takes forever. Right? Yeah. Like you spend your whole life writing your first album and then you spend like a year or two. So I think you're compensating. I think the first album is good because you put so much time into it. So unless you're really, really confident and skilled, your second album always is going to feel like it's less than your first album to you. So you compensate by adding more things to make up the difference. That's my theory.
Those are two very, very good theories. I think we should maybe have some homework, and Greg, you talk to Phil about it.
I will mention it and see if I can find out.
See what Majoran's pretentious take is.
The other thing is you have
the whole situation.
If you're a good enough band to produce a second album, you have more money the second time, right?
Yeah.
So there's also the possibility that they wanted to have more sounds the first time and couldn't have them because of the cost, but the second time they could afford it.
Those are two very good theories. I think I like those a lot. Or three, yeah.
Yeah, I thought about that. I thought about this a lot, Jason, because it drives me.
But I dig that. I dig those answers. It gives some clarity. Thank you very much, Gregory.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
I'm not sure it's actually true on any level, but
I think I especially think that first one is true. I think more. Like just more. Even you want more.
Yeah.
Like as you start to experience art or you start to experience the creative process, I think it becomes like you were comparing it to drugs, addictive. I remember an article when Madonna had just come out with Truth or Dare or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember I remember this article. I forget what magazine it was even in, but I remember the author was just asking the question, how can you take it further? That's what the continual they keep trying to push the out of balance. Did anybody watch the American Music Awards?
No.
Pink did a song on the side of a building. It was like, I think, how can you do more? Okay, let's dance on the side of a building while like hanging from strings and have these dancers hang. They're like a skyscraper. Like it was just, it's a crazy. You should look it up just to see.
I have an example that's not music that I was thinking that came back to my head now. So you know, like old ladies or old guys, sometimes they have perfume on that's like 80 times more than they need. And this is a broad stereotype. This is not 100% every old lady everywhere. So if you're an old lady who listens to this, we're not talking about you. It's a different old lady. But I like that doesn't happen because they think I should put on 80 times more perfume than I did when I was 20. Right? It's because they don't smell this. Like their actual senses deteriorate over time. So to get the same smell, they have to add more. Yeah. Right? So they finally get to where they smell. They think they smell the same as they did when they were 20, but they don't, right? And the rest of us can tell they don't because our senses are. I wonder if that's happening with musicians, especially musicians who make a lot of albums. If you start to add more and more sounds to try to get to the same feeling you had in the first one, but it actually ends up just being more sounds.
Yeah, that coincides with my pastrami theory. That I think that's why you have to be a certain age to like pastrami, you know, because you can't taste anything else. You know, it's such a strong taste. Like, anywho. Yeah.
I actually like pastrami, so we finally stumbled onto a food I enjoy on this podcast.
Or maybe you're just really old.
Yeah,
that's a real possibility.
B, do you have any theories, B?
No.
About anything really at this point.
No. Though I did look them up on Spotify and they're related artists. I have never heard of one of these related artists. Hone Lapsley, like, Shy Girls, Astronomy with 2 Ys, Marion Hill. I'm like, I have no idea what this genre is.
This is a whole genre. This is a whole new genre for me.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm getting excited over there.
Yeah. But no theories.
New music Thursday for me.
This will probably make you want to listen to them more. I thought of War on Drugs, like the 3rd or 4th track, like one of the tracks.
Why did they say War on Drugs related artists?
I don't know.
And then in parentheses, Jason thinks so.
So War on Drugs, that's the same problem as like Meatloaf, right? Like I hate Meatloaf. But not the band. I like the band Meatloaf. Like the food Meatloaf, I don't like, right? Like this is the
I've definitely had that.
I'm a huge fan of the War on Drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not the band, but the actual War on Drugs.
Or I tried Googling it at one point and then you see the problem. Come on, Brandmasters, where are you?
All right, my second thing is I loved Chance the Rapper's SNL a couple weeks the Saturday before Thanksgiving. Yeah, it was fantastic. You've not seen it yet.
No, I think I did.
He's got 3 or 4 really good sketches that you should just file away.
The hockey one was my favorite.
That was good.
Oh, so good. Yeah. The hockey one was really fantastic. The comeback Barack 90s like Boys to Men soft pop video. That was fantastic. There's a couple other ones that were just really good. The Family Feud one made me laugh a lot just because it was just watching Chance the Rapper do it. But one of my favorite things of the whole episode is he gets up, and I've never heard anybody do this on SNL, and I've watched a lot of SNL, but he stands up and he goes, I've got nothing to hype this week. I just want to be here because it's Thanksgiving. And I was like, oh man, that's fantastic. Like nobody ever does SNL with nothing to promote, right? Like they just, like it was just so interesting to have him just say out loud, I'm not here to promote anything.
He's promoting himself.
Yeah. This is cool.
He is classic. He's like classically hiding so that people find him.
Yeah.
You know, like I think I remember when I had some friends that kind of made it at a small town, you know, like the Plank Guy. You remember that Christian rock band Plank Guy? They're buddies of mine. And I remember when they were first releasing their first album, and their singer, they were meeting with their first manager, and after their first meeting, hello.
This is a steaming hot take right here.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come?
Sorry, guys. The windows are even closed. I didn't think you could hear that. Sorry.
That was golden. Anyway, I remember they when they after their first meeting with their first manager, the manager said, "You never play a set over 50 minutes. If you leave the stage if 50 minutes has passed, because you always want to have a expectation of people wanting to see you." And I think he's taking that idea and just kind of pinning it to the needle. Like, it's wicked hard to find any of his music. It's wicked hard to get a glimpse of him, but I think just the looking for him adds to the satisfaction when he steps to the mic. You know, like I think, I really dig that guy.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's my two.
He was legitimately funny on SNL. It was good.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Yeah, it's surprising. I think we'll see him more in those kinds of things, right?
To your point, Jason, I'd heard of him, but I didn't think I had heard him. I was like, everybody likes this guy. And then I was listening to KXP, this independent radio station out here, and there was a song I really liked. I was like, man, who sings this song? This is awesome. And then at the end, they're like, that's Chance the Rapper. I was like, oh, he got me. I do like Chance the Rapper.
Snuck by your defenses, B. Snuck by your defenses.
The song Blessings, I think.
That song is awesome.
It was a few years ago. And I was like, oh, dang, I do like him. Who knew?
I am so jealous of KEXP.
You can listen to it online.
I know, but I wish I was near you just for that. Like,
sometimes I just go to the building. They have a coffee shop in there.
Yeah.
And you watch the DJs
that's cool.
do their thing and get a coffee, and there's a big space there now down by the sales center.
I like all their DJs are super, super nerdy, like to the max. But I love them. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I like them.
Anyway,
I like that. Okay, I'll move on. Mine is actually a music one too. I went up to Bellingham over the break to go see a band with my friends, and before I went, I'd never heard them, but they were categorized as swamp electro. I know, and I was like, really, guys, come on. And then I saw their instruments, and they are legitimately swamp electro, and they rocked it. It was so good. They literally have like a one string stand-up bass, these weird instruments I've never seen before, where they like cover their mouth and like make noise with this thing. They like, one guy was like singing into his banjo with the mic in there, and it made a weird sound. And I was like, and there's only 3 guys, and one of them's from Bainbridge Island. That's how we know about the band, which is where I'm from. And so we had some connections to one of the band members. And so if you get the chance, look up Dirtwire. They're called Dirtwire.
That's a good name.
Yeah, the music was great. It was definitely like hyping up the crowd. It was a small venue because it's Bellingham. It wasn't Seattle, so everyone is like into it. So I'm not saying the music wasn't good. It was very good. But and plus of watching them live is they have this awesome like show going on behind them with the images they've chosen to put on the screen behind them, and it's just like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a dystopian world, but it's like animals in a dystopian world, and then they kind of like move and then it shifts to another scene, and there's like always an animal. Anyway, it's just crazy. I hope that they like put that online somewhere, because their slideshow is amazing. That's why I didn't want to start with that, but their music is good. Remember I said that, but also the slideshow. So check out Dirtwire. They just came out with a new album. I haven't listened to it studio yet. I mean, I've only heard them live, but I'm hoping that the studio versions pick up how good they are live. So far, I've just noticed that they're touring the West Coast, but maybe they'll make it big someday and get out to some other cities, or maybe they've already have a plan to do that later on, just not right now.
Nice.
Swamp Electro, guys. It's real. And if you think that they didn't cover Led Zeppelin When the Levee Breaks, you're wrong, because they did cover that, and they did it awesome. So they're good.
I dig that song. The drum on that.
They did, so everyone went wild. Yeah, and all 3 of them were playing drums, and then they pick up. It was really good.
Dirtwire. I like
Dirtwire. Yeah.
Electric Swamp.
I like the name right off the bat.
Me too.
Yeah.
Are they an older band or like younger? Just starting out. What's
so the connection to Bainbridge, I'm think I don't want to guess. I mean, he's in his 40s, so he's not my year in Bainbridge, but he's from Bainbridge, so he was the band member knew the sister of someone that I know up in Bellingham. So they've been around for a while. Also, this is the thing. The lead singer, who's not the guy from Bainbridge, is part of a pretty popular band that I had never heard of. This is his side project, Dirtwire. So people were coming in knowing that guy and his band, which I can't remember the name of it now because it's a terrible name that you can't tell what someone's saying when they say it.
Blah 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 blah
blah blah.
Yeah,
it's like that. And my friend was like trying to tell me the name of it. I kept thinking of all other ways of what she could possibly be saying. Anyway, I'm not gonna figure this out in time, but bread. It's called Beats Antique. That's the name of the
Beats Antique.
That's a terrible name.
Yeah,
terrible name. And so I was like, Beat Antique, and she's like, no, Beats Antique. And I was like, all right. So the lead singer, that like band's pretty popular. Antique, yeah. Two words. One, Beats, like the vegetable, and the second one, Antique, like not
the
new.
shop where you buy old record players.
Yeah. Yeah, Beats Antique. And so that band is a bit more private, and this is his side thing, is Dirtwire.
Yeah, Dirtwire is way better.
Yeah, and Dirtwire has the guy from Bainbridge in it.
All right.
That's cool. Nice.
Okay.
I will definitely check. I'll definitely check out anything. You got me at Swamp.
Swamp.
You got me at Swamp. I like Swamp. I like the word Swamp. All right. What is it? Me or is it who's on first? Who's on first? Okay. Number three. Number three is I'll set it up. Uncle. I was visiting my uncle. This is probably a decade ago. About a decade ago, I was visiting with my aunt and uncle in Dallas, Texas, and they're devout Catholics. It's kind of relevant. They were on a vacation. Like 20 years ago, and as a cheap way to vacate and like have vacations, they often would stay in like abbeys, like where nuns live. Yeah. You know, like so it's usually a cheap rent, and it also gives like a spiritual component. And so this makes that about 30 years ago. They were on a vacation in Colorado, staying at some abbey in the Rockies. And my Uncle Wayne, he was sitting in their library, and he just picked a book off the shelf and started reading it. And that became his favorite book. And so he's been reading it all the time, like ever since, you know, and he just, because it was lumped in with this experience and because it's a pretty good book. Fast forward, I hang out with him about a decade ago. I find out about the book. I ordered the book on eBay or something like that, and it comes, and it's been sitting around my house ever since. And then I was just sitting in a chair, and I picked it up and started reading it. I really like it. It's the name of the book is That Man Is You. And how do you pronounce Louis? Is that Louis? Louis, and then his last name is Evely. So either Evely or Evely or
yeah.
Anyway, it's a Catholic dude, and the book came out I think in the 60s or something.
What's the title again? The man.
That Man Is You. That Man Is You, and it's. There's a couple things I like about it. One, it's on the Beatitudes. Its primary focus is on the Beatitudes. It's one, and I love Christocentric stuff. I love also it's written in kind of a prose form, like like Rob Bell, he writes his books and he has them like all funky and formatted and stuff like that. The format of it is really interesting because it's each chapters could be just one poem, or I don't know why or how the guy or what. It's just really well written, and I dig it. It's challenging me on a bunch of levels, and it's I like it. So That Man Is You.
All right, that's awesome.
By Louis Evely, but
both
it's translated
names are
by
kind of hard.
Yeah, and it's translated by Edmund Bonin. That's the one I'm Bonin. Anywho.
Huh. Do you know anything more about the author of it?
I don't. I don't. Yeah.
It was translated, right? So, do you know what it was written in originally? Like French or something?
No, I haven't even looked into it that much. No.
All right.
I could do a little research. I'll tell you about it next time, maybe.
I think I've definitely done that with CDs, and I'm like, this looks like cool cover art. I'm gonna listen to it, but I don't think I've ever done that with a book.
Yeah.
And thought, oh, this is a cool cover or something about it. I'm just gonna read it knowing nothing about it. I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah, I don't know why my uncle did that too. I don't. Yeah, I have never done that either. Yeah.
I also love like having been to your house. Like I love that you just have books everywhere, and like that depending on what chair you happen to sit in might determine what you're going to read that week.
That's true. That's true. That Man in the Mirror book you sent me like 2 years ago or 5 years ago or whatever, that's sitting by one of my chairs. I still haven't read that, but maybe I'll get to that next.
Yeah, that's also not the name of the book I sent
you. The Man in the Mirror, isn't it? Isn't it the Michael Jackson book?
Yeah, it's the Michael Jackson Project. No, it was Married to the Church.
Oh yeah, there it is. Married.
You absolutely have to read that book. Why I sent it to you, dude. All right. My last one is I had a weird couple of weeks with plumbing and my pool. My pool had a leak that we've had for a while. So I let it sit for a while because I knew I didn't have time to work on it. So that was one thing. But then while I was getting ready to work on my pool, our kitchen sink sprung a leak and like demolished our lower cabinets in our kitchen. So, which neither of those are really things I'm super thankful for. But what I am thankful for is just having people in my life who are really skilled at things I'm not skilled at. And particularly, I think like sort of blue collar guys who just know how to fix things. So Allie's dad came and fixed my sink right away, and that was awesome. And he did it in like 20 minutes. I couldn't believe it. And then my next door neighbor and I each night. So it gets dark in Texas around 6 o'clock right now because it's just that time of year. And so he gets off of work around 5, and I'm home around 5. So the last 3 nights have worked on. So I've dug up my pool. I found the leak. He helped me cut off the old pipe, put on a new pipe, and the last night we put the joints on and everything and glued everything together. And so today we'll find out if it worked or not. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Allie's dad, John Melancon, and then to my neighbor Clay for just being super skilled and super helpful, and just guys who know what they're doing and can are just super competent and can fix things and can. I feel like they live in the world in a totally different way than I live in the world, and I'm always appreciative of their ability to do that because it's so foreign to me. But I'm super glad that God brings them into our lives, and they're a huge blessing. So that's something I'm thankful for.
Did they fix the pool or just the sink?
Oh, we fixed the sink and the pool now.
Oh, okay.
So it was a busy week.
Wow.
Yeah.
No braggies. Greg has a pool. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. God.
Who knew? I wish I had a pool.
Yeah, I usually confess that because I don't.
And a jacuzzi and this whole jacuzzi thing. Is that you also?
No.
You borrowed a jacuzzi.
I need to get a hot tub though. I
know if you have a pool and no hot tub, that's like the reverse of Greg right there.
I know it doesn't make any sense. I'm with you.
Pool says fun and exercise, and then jacuzzi says like lazy and relaxing. That's right. That's
now we're talking. Yeah,
now we're talking.
Texas jacuzzi.
Yeah, our pool gets really hot in the summer, if that counts.
Yeah, definitely. But I wrote down people who know what they're doing, skills to fix things. That's the thing, not the pool part. Okay. Thank you, Greg. I will move on to mine. I will confess, I don't think I've told any of the kids, the middle schoolers, this, but I actually don't like plays or musicals very much. But after getting this job, I go to about 5 or 6 musicals a year, especially around this time.
Oh.
And I go because to support the kids, I go with their small group leaders and I just kind of do it. And I recently went to a community play, and I went because one parent told me that their kid was in it. And I didn't realize until we got there that we actually had 4 kids in it from the ministry. And so that was cool in itself. And the play was fine. There was some singing in it, and the kids like went like this really big, you know. But
what play was it?
It was the one they made up. The director, like, it's a community play, so kids, like college age and their parents and adults. And so someone, the director from this community play, like, made it up. It's got like anyway, different categories. And there's one kid who's new to the ministry. He started coming this summer, and he's very he's just like a very unique kid. I really enjoy having him around, and he's in the play. And then it turns out when they're just about to go to intermission that he is like the main dude who's like secretly spying on the good group, and he's like giving clues to the bad group. And I literally in the play, I was like, what? Like, I couldn't believe, like, not only was there a foil, but he was the foil. And so I was like so excited for the second half, being like, he's gonna have such a big part. And I already think this kid is like really like dramatic anyway. And I was just so excited. And so I was like genuinely surprised at this play. I was genuinely surprised that like that these 4 in particular would like ask to be in a play. And so anyway, I'm just thankful that, you know, even this job, I've had it for almost 5 years. I already know this about myself, that I don't really enjoy. I'm big like eye roll during like the super dramatic parts. But I'm still thankful that I'm surprised at like how much I enjoy. I can still find some joy in things that on the whole I'm probably not going to enjoy, but there are parts that I still have a place in my heart, that like the Grinch, like there's still little places of light where even when I'm watching a play or a musical, I can find some joy in it when I know some of the people in it, or, you know, some surprise aspect in it. So anyway, that was surprising to me, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for these kids. I'm thankful for the mom for even inviting us to go, even though I just thought it was one kid that happened before. So anyway, that's my awesome. Last thing I'm thankful for. Yeah.
I love that one. That's good.
That was really
I feel
good.
the same way about it.
Oh,
Me
man,
too.
I just can't. I just can't. But every time I get invited to one, I find myself being like, I'm so excited. I would love to go to your play.
I feel like I instituted a rule a while ago that like I don't want to go to a play if I don't have to pay $100 for the ticket. That's my like. It's just like,
you only want to go to the good ones.
Yeah, it's just it's so hard to watch bad plays.
Yeah, I've gotten used to it.
I do not have those soft spots of my heart that allow me to enjoy that beat. I'm impressed by that. I'm glad to know that exists in people.
I know. I surprised myself even. Okay, I'm gonna pick our 5. Let's see what we got here. I am going to choose for sure Chance the Rapper on SNL, because I actually watched that and I agree it was awesome.
Nice.
I'm going to I want to pick 2 Jason. Sorry, so I want to check out this band.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm also excited about your adventure, Jason. I'm glad that you knew it was an adventure before it was an even adventure, and it made you want to go. I'll also pick Greg's Thanksgiving and Colette's birthday. That's awesome. Nice. And I'm really sorry that she hurt herself. It's not good.
Yeah.
And then I got to pick one of mine, I guess. And I'm going to go with Dirtwire because I want everyone to check them out.
Yes.
So go check them out. I hope they do well, studio. I'm sure they do. But anyway, so those are the 5 in no particular order.
Nice. Bam. B-sides.
Oh, dang. Okay.
B-sides. Boom,
boom, boom, boom, boom, boom. I honestly am going to think of one right now, unless you guys.
That's the sweet spot.
Let's see. It's November 30th. It's almost December. What do you guys think of?
I have a question while you're thinking of your B-side.
Can it be the B-side?
Probably not.
Okay.
But it's based on your point about Dirtwire and not having listened to their album yet. You guys do a lot of live music. I don't do hardly any live music. But what's the biggest gap between live music band performance and CD performance that you can think of? Who's the band with? It could be positive or negative, I suppose, but I always imagine it's negative. But I'm curious for you. Who's the people that you've seen live and like, oh, this person's way better than their album, or this person's way worse than their album, and maybe vice versa.
I'd say the way worse one was Jars of Clay. Like I think that they have some really good albums and they have some really good music put on album, but I've seen them like a couple times as part of like live stuff, and they're just terrible. I don't think sound people know what to do with his voice. I don't think he sings kind of a softer tone, and so I think that was the worst that I've seen go in that direction. The best, man.
You're wrong, Greg. This is the B-side. And I thought of one that I've made it a point in my life to never see them live again because they're so passionless. But their albums are so good. I'm not going to stop listening to their albums, but if you ever see Modest Mouse in concert, they are doing it for the money. And there is no excuse for them to all be together again. They hate each other. They just literally play the song and sit down, and there's just no joy in it. So around college, I'd seen them like 4 or 5 times. I love them. They're from around here. And then I saw them once in college. I'm like, please hold me to this. I'm never again going to pay to go see Modest Mouse. But they sound great. It's just I'm not going to go see them live anymore, but I'll still invest in their studio stuff.
I think
but I'm sure there's opposite too, where they're like,
yeah.
That's what I'm curious about. Like, I know they're not bands.
The biggest. It took me a long time to think of one, but Mike Knott was, I think, my greatest surprise how good he is live compared to how I've heard him on recordings. There's I don't know if you ever heard Mike Knott, but Mike Knott, he started as like the front man to this LSU. It was like early Christian alternative stuff, and then he went solo, and then he also had a band called Aunt Betty's, and they're all like decent, but I saw him live once, and it was miles above what he's recorded. And actually, Burlap to Cashmere, that's another that's a Christian band. They were heads above their albums, and I think what made it was Mike Knott, the person of. I would imagine that he'd be, when I saw him, he'd been in the business for like 20, 30 years. So he's an older rocker. He's an older rocker, and he just knows the crowd. He knows his instrument. He knows. Yeah. He just knows. He knows the room really well. And then with Burlap to Cashmere, it's just the wall of sound. Like you can't capture all that sound that's going on. Yeah. Like. Because Burlap to Cashmere, they kind of like sound, they're a Christian version of the Los Lobos, like they're a Christian version of like Spanish music, like fused with alternative, fused with like Dave Matthews kind of stuff, just a wall of sound. And it just you can't capture it on a CD. You can't capture the fact that they have 2 or 3 guitarists. Whenever they're doing a solo, they have 2 or 3 guitarists simultaneously doing the same solo. You think on a CD that they're just laying down tracks. Yeah. But since there's 2 or 3 doing the same solo, there comes like a reverb kind of it's really neat.
That's cool. Kind of think, because I've been at concerts where you're like, oh, I think I would really like this band. And then you get their CD and it's like, oh, I don't like these guys at all. I was totally caught up in the concert.
That's definitely happened to me before, but I can't think of a band that's happened to. I know I've had that feeling.
Jason, you and I had it. Remember we went to that Switchfoot concert? In Austin, and the band that opened for them was like The Athletic or something. I can't remember what the name of it.
Oh yeah.
Like and they're like, and we were both like, these guys are okay. They don't sound terrible. And then we got home later and listened to their album. And it was like, oh, these guys are awful. It's unlistenable.
That happens.
But in person, they were like, all right.
That happens more than not to me, I think, especially with opening bands.
Yeah, opening bands.
All right. Well, my hope is that Dirtwire is not like that, B. I hope when we listen to him recorded, we're like, yeah.
Or maybe they only release live albums. I'm not sure, but you kind of got to be there.
That's the other question, right? Why don't people do that? That's what I don't know about.
Yeah, it's probably hard to record.
Yeah.
It's sounding good.
I'll have to look and see if they're
But
coming
Jason,
to
I think your point about the sound guy makes a big difference. That's the man. That, like a sound guy, it's worth their weight in gold if you have a good one, right?
It's true.
Yeah. Great B side. That was a G side. Good job. Okay. Let's call
I
it.
can help.
All
you.
right.
Next week, have your stuff together.
Get no promises.
That's awesome.
Don't I know it? All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Subscribe. This Week in Gratitude. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.